Good morning, my friends. Good morning to everyone. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Can everybody hear me? I'm currently at Starbucks and I've been traveling quite a lot. Currently, I'm in Kazakhstan and soon I'll be going to Dubai. How's everybody doing, my friends? Before we start the live and start asking the questions, I start answering them. As always, guys, down in the description, you can find the links to my course, Knowing Your Spreadsheet newsletter, and you can also find the link where you can follow me on Twitter, where I also update and share my thoughts. Today, what I want to talk about, whether or not the bottom is in for crypto, right? This is a question that people keep asking me. And like I've been saying earlier, people are so obsessed about nailing the bottom and so obsessed about selling the top that unfortunately a lot of people miss out on buying when they should be buying and then miss out on selling when they should be selling. And this is a huge problem with crypto and investing generally, right? Unfortunately, people want to take a certain amount of money, buy the perfect bottom, then watch the market reverse right away, and then pump like crazy and exit at the exact top or near the top. Good morning, my friends. Welcome. And so, that's just not the way that it happens in reality. You know, in our dreams, we're always like the best versions of ourselves, but then there's a thing called reality, and unfortunately, in reality, that's not the way things go down, right? That being said, is the bottom in? Well, nobody knows. What is my personal opinion? My personal opinion is that the bottom is not in. And I'll just share this, that I think that the possibility of Bitcoin crashing further is quite big. One of the main reasons being because the Dow Jones has only crashed 22% recently. And back in the history, it crashed as much as 50 and 40%. During the COVID crash, it was 40%. During the great financial crisis, it was roughly 50%, right? So if we look at historic data, we have huge potential to keep crashing, to crash further, because whenever stocks crash, unfortunately, crypto crashes with it. Both are basically speculative markets, and you should be prepared for that, right? So right now, we are in what I like to call the macro accumulation phase. We've been waiting for roughly a year to be buying at these prices, and anything that is 20,000 Bitcoin and all the way down to $3,000 Bitcoin, you should be accumulating in that area. You should be accumulating Bitcoin in that area. You should be diversifying with altcoins, and you should be buying those different altcoins in the same area. Just like I said earlier on, yes, unfortunately, that means at some point, your portfolio is going to be down. It's going to be down a lot at some point, but that's just the way the bear market works, right? You wait for huge crashes to start dollar cost averaging with equal amounts of money, and then once you are everything keeps crashing, keep buying, and you ignore the crashes. It's just the way it works. It's the same thing as in the bull market. After huge pumps, you start selling. You stop setting a trailing stop loss to make sure if something drastic happens, you're out with a lot of money, even if you're asleep. And once you're out, that's if you ignore further pumps and you start awaiting the crashes. And it takes a lot of time. All this takes a lot of time, right? To make money in crypto takes a lot of time. There's this myth that basically everybody comes into crypto, makes crazy money, and leaves in the time frame of what I'm going to say 200 days. But that's just not the case. That's just not the case. Crypto works. Crypto works in cycles. Cycles may be lengthening. We don't know yet if that's the case. And we have to wait a long time for the market to crash to the point where it is to start dollar cost averaging. If we want better entries, we might have to wait a lot of time again to get those great entries. And then, for a very long time, market is not going to be doing anything special, maybe pumping to something like $35,000 Bitcoin, maybe 40,000 Bitcoin, maybe lower, then crashing again, all these unsustainable pumps, all this board and chop, then retracing back to lows. And it's a long journey. You really have to earn it. You really have to make those crazy profits. You really have to earn these massive profits, like 1,000 to 10,000%, and maybe sometimes if you're very lucky, even more. They don't come by coming in the bull market when everything is up like crazy and then buying Bitcoin at like $50,000. You definitely cannot buy Bitcoin at $50,000. One of the main problems also that I want to address that a lot of people talk about, you have newcomers who come to the space and they get poor education, right? So they don't, for example, dollars cost average and diversify, right? I say it all the time, but then people don't understand what they're being told, right? So they hear dollar cost average, they're going to go and buy Bitcoin at 60,000, 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, right? Which is now no way to dollar cost average. The only dollar cost average after roughly Bitcoin is down roughly 70%, and altcoins roughly 80% and more, down to 99%, right? And that's when you start dollar cost averaging. And now the very important thing about dollar cost averaging, you have to dollar cost average with equal amounts of money. Excuse me. If you don't dollar cost average with equal amounts of money, if the market keeps crashing hard, your average is going to be very bad if you've been buying a lot near the top and then you're not buying just a little near the bottom. Your ROI is not going to be that great. You're going to need the pump to go much higher to make a good amount of money. And that's why it's very important to dollar cost average with equal amounts of money, because you really bring down your average. And even if Bitcoin goes to something like $3,000, will it go there? Nobody knows. But the strategy that I have and what I teach and what I've been doing for 2 market cycles, this is the 3rd market cycle now, it works. You just have to make sure that you prepare for all scenarios. So right now we already executed some entries. Once again, if you're interested in what coins I'm buying, which entries are already executed, and which entries I'm going to execute, and which coins I'm going to buy in the future, there's going to be a link in the description and in the comments down below that you can follow and join my course. The point is, you should be at this point in the market is what I like to call neutral, right? My patrons know what I'm talking about right here now. That's what I call neutral. So basically, when we're at $60,000 Bitcoin and 50 and 40 and 30,000, we're what I like to call macro bearish, right? Right now, we are macro neutral. In this zone, what we do is we accumulate. If Bitcoin goes below 10,000 and all the way down to roughly 3,000, maybe something like $2,500, even rough estimate is $3,000, right? This is where I become what I call macro bullish. This is where it will become very bullish. You'll literally see me posting rockets, laser eyes, diamond hands. That's when I'll start doing laser eyes and diamond hands. It's like a joke, but the reason why I'll be doing it is basically so that these people understand what I'm trying to convey on them, right? And right now we're in a neutral phase. Whatever happens at this point, I'm ready for it, because I'm roughly 50-50 at this point, right? If we pump like crazy, I make money. If we crash more, we get some more great entries, bring our average down. And I actually hope for a crash. I'll be honest, I hope for a crash, because the harder we crash, the better the ROI is going to be. And, there's also this narrative that basically crypto is dying and it's dead. Crypto is not dead. It's actually not the worst thing that has happened to us. I still remember, I've been here a lot. I remember a lot of crashes. I remember a lot of, catastrophic events. And if you ask me personally, COVID crash felt much worse than what happened just recently. If I'm not mistaken, I don't remember all these digits and events, by heart, because there's so much data in my head. I sometimes have to double check. But if I'm not mistaken, during the COVID crash, Bitcoin crashed like 50% in a day or two, or like 3, something like that. And then some Bitcoins crashed as much as 75%. That was bad. If that would happen right now, that would be bad, right? Imagine the narrative out there. People being scared, people being told to stay away from crypto. But, I would actually be very happy, because that's exactly what was great entries. And, these things like FTX and Sand, whatnot, and Luna, and Duquan, all these things that happen, we have to have narratives, right, for crypto to keep crashing, right? There'll always be scary narrative, right? We've had the Tether narrative for a very long time, and maybe Tether will eventually collapse. We don't know, right? But these things are good for us. What we have to make sure is that the majority of our crypto is off exchanges, so these massive typicals and nightmares happen, we're not affected, and we just accumulate. Whichever exchange basically goes down, it goes down. We have several exchanges, like, once again, if you're on my Patreon, I tell you where you can buy certain coins, especially if you're a $99 tier. I always mention where you can buy these coins that are high risk and high reward, right? Whichever exchange is down, it's down. Your crypto is off that exchange, right? And now you've got another exchange where you can go and buy that crypto and then move it from the exchange right away. Just basically make sure that you stay safe, make sure that you're prepared. Back near the top, I was preaching pretty much the same thing. Not many people wanted to listen when I was saying nonstop, take profits, pay yourself, take massive profits, and start setting stop losses, right? That was my mistake, for example, with XRP XLM. I was of the belief, just because it was only 2 coins out of 9 in my portfolio did not deliver. Even people, seasoned investors like me, make mistakes, I was thinking that their lives are going to pump. What I should have done, I should have made no exceptions for XRP, because I used to think XRP is special. For me now, it's just another coin. You do not treat any coin like a special. You do not favor one coin over another. If I had only set, because my buy entries for XRP were amazing. To this day, I'm in profit because of these entries, right? Back in the day, one of the ways I got a mass following was when I was predicting 30 cent and 15 cent and 10 cent XRP, right? And it came to be 5 cent entry did not hit, but whatever, the other ones were great, right? So I got these amazing entries, and I looked at historical data. I used the same method that I used for all other coins, right? And it worked with 7 out of 9 coins. With 2 coins out of 9, it did not work, right? That's why I keep saying that some coins are going to go to zero in your portfolio. Some are going to pump well at 1,000, 2,000%. Actually, XRP did pump quite well, 2,000%, but I was just expecting much more. So it's very important to basically become aware of one thing. When the market has pumped, and there are a lot of coins that have pumped 5 to 10,000%, and your migrant is not doing anything, but it's still pumped somehow, it's time to get out, guys. It's time to, take the L, so to speak, and it's not even an L. It's just not what you expected, right? It's still huge profits, like 1,500% to 1,000%, 2,000%. These are massive profits, right? If you see that basically the market is looking top, if you see that a lot of gold coins pump like crazy and your leggers aren't doing much, you sell and you get out. You sell and you get out. And the reason we diversify is to make sure that we can get these pumps, right? For example, yes, XRP didn't pump like crazy. It pumped pretty much the same as Bitcoin, which is pretty bad because Bitcoin is the most conservative coin, check out there. But you know what? Other coins pump. BT pumped like crazy. BNB pumped over 10,000%, right? The Doge pumped like crazy. Ethereum Classic pumped like crazy. Rent pumped pretty well, right? There are a lot of coins that pumped, right? So the fact that I diversified is what made sure it made big profits. And that's what exactly I'm doing now and what I teach right now. Very straightforward, very simple, right? Takes a lot of time. You avoid huge crashes. You start dollar cost averaging with equal amounts a month. Upon new lows, you have to make sure that there's a big difference between each low. So like it doesn't make a difference really if you bought Bitcoin, I don't know, at 20,000 and then you buy it at 18,000, right? You have to make sure that there's a good difference. Let's say 20,000 and then somewhere like 14,000, blah blah blah. You get the point, right? Anyway, guys, let's read what you're saying so we can engage in some conversation. Hello to everyone that's saying hello, guys. Golf Con, you were right last year, Rob, about selling. Credit to you and credit to you. Thank you, Golf Con. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much. There were others also who called it, like Blockchain Backer also called it. And there were several other people who called it the top correct. So props to them, credit to them too. So if we miss the first entries, we should go ahead and dollar cost after the price is currently. Yes, Roger. If you're my patron, the answer is yes, my friend. Congratulations, Rob. Both baby girl and mom is done. They're very well. Thank you so much, SB. They're very well, thank you. I never know when to sell, Daniel Sherman. Well, join the Patreon, my friend. Join the Patreon. I'll tell you when to sell. Hi there, Peter. Hope you're having a good time in Australia. Manjira, how's Oklahoma? I've never been. Dated and not married. Yeah, dated and not married. That's a good way to go about it. Thomas Horton, love your content, Rob. Thank you so much, Thomas. I appreciate the kind of work. You and BC Backer are amazing. Manjira, thank you very much. BC Backer truly is amazing. The guy is a legend. He's very good at what he does, and I have nothing but respect and love for that guy. He's BC Backer, well done. Rob, was tough time to get your spreadsheet. When I ask something, I put her answer properly and don't show attitude. Would pay for it. It's Vicky. I actually, hello, hope you're well in India. I don't know when I show attitude. I try to be a very nice person. And on Patreon, I keep mentioning that please kindly DM me on Twitter because for some reason, when it's registered my Patreon, the country I was back then, I see the emails that come with messages, but for some reason I cannot answer the messages. So that's why I always kindly ask everybody, please DM me on Twitter. And there are a lot of people here who verify that I get back to the DMs and I answer the questions to the best of my ability. So if you have any questions, please kindly take a minute or two, get on Twitter, ask me the questions, and I'll try my best to help and answer. If you're looking for the millionaire spreadsheet right now, all you have to do is go to the posts area publication where the publications and market updates are. Scroll down to the 31st of October, and it says in big bold letters, millionaire spreadsheet. That's the latest version. I'll be updating it also once we execute more entries. So, and as always, whenever we buy or sell something, the minute it happens, I also provide updates. Manjira, honestly, pretty boring. Your data is flat. Cheap cost of living. That's good. The bottom is in when Rob does a video. Mike Monte. Don't chase bottoms, my friend. Do not chase bottoms. Do not chase tops and bottoms. Here, always watch your videos. What is the main focus of your Patreon? The main focus of my Patreon, right? I have basically a smaller risky place that I have in the $99 tier where I have risky coins, basically, that I throw in significant amounts of money at that have the potential to deliver 50 to 100x profits, right? But the main concentration is what I've been doing for 2 market cycles. My strategy that I have right now, and it keeps evolving and getting better, but it's pretty much the same. The main focus is basically there's this thing called the millionaire spreadsheet. It costs $5. Tells you exactly what coins you need to buy, at which prices you need to buy them, and when you need to sell them. Also, gives you, if you stay subscribed, it gives you constant market updates. The moment I sell or buy or trade something, I give updates, and as the market matures, I'll be updated. It's basically the safest way I can see to play the crypto market to make money, right? Very boring, long process, takes a whole cycle, not for everybody, definitely. For example, if you're into trading and whatnot, that's definitely not for you. Had a tough time to go through the payments. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry, Slicky. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff I don't like. Certain platforms do not control the way people pay on day trade. I wish they had crypto. I actually wrote to them a few times asking, can you guys add crypto payments because there's so many people asking. I'm sorry that you had a difficult time with it. I love your predictions for XRP years ago. I used your message. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. But nobody's perfect. Like I said, yes, I predicted nearly the perfect bottom for XRP when we got some major entries of from 30 all the way down to 10 cents. Some major buys of 15 cents, and I'm still in profit on those bags. But you see, the thing is, I did not sell on time. I could have sold around $2 and made like a lot more money, but I did not. I messed up with XRP and XLM. Nobody's perfect. That's exactly why I have the strategy that I have, where you diversify, dollar cost average, and then sell when some coins deliver, some coins don't deliver. Robin, hey Rob, thoughts on XRP price post lawsuit? When it comes to XRP, like I said, I'll be providing all updates on Patreon. Current entries are there. I just really hope that basically once they get the list XRP, nobody will have a reason not to buy it, because back in the day, a lot of people they ran away from XRP and started buying coins like ADA because they got scared, and there won't be this huge basically thundercloud hanging over XRP where investors are scared to buy. Once if we do win the lawsuit, exchanges will list. One narrative will be very important for a lot of utility coin guys is that don't forget that it's much faster and much cheaper to transact than a lot of coins out there, and they actually have signed contracts. Ripple has actually signed contracts with banks a lot. So, utility narrative wise is going to be very popular with the utility narrative. Rob, huge fan. Do you think XRP will drop lower before it goes up? Post settlement, or what do you think the price will settle? What I just answered your second question. The first question. I have targets that are basically significantly lower than what XRP is trading at right now. That being said, like I said, I already do have XRP bags, but like I said, I only dollar cost average bonding lows. So if we get those entries, we get them. If we don't get them. We shouldn't be, chasing the bottoms like I keep saying. Let's not chase bottoms, right? Let's just go with the flow of the market. We get our entries. If we don't get our entries, we already have some entries, right? We can't make all the money in the world. This also greed is a very difficult thing also in crypto. Everybody wants to go in with all their money at the perfect bottom and sell the perfect top. It's never going to happen like that. Maybe there are select few individuals who will be able to pull it off. I guess there always are, like a small percentage, but the vast majority, it doesn't happen. At least it doesn't happen for me. I've never been able to buy the exact bottom and sell the exact top. But you know what I've been able to do? I've been able to buy very low and sell very high. And for me, that's more than good enough because the ROI is great and the profits are great. Hey Rob, do you think in this really bad macroeconomy, crypto might die? I don't think it will, but many people do. No, better living habits, my friend. I do not think that. I'm not one bit surprised that the current narratives that we're seeing are very bad after roughly 80% crashes, all over across the board. That's what it always happens. If you've been here in crypto for a long time, do some research, even read some posts from years ago. Whenever we're down a lot, everybody always concentrates on the negativity, right? It's always that crypto is dead. We're never coming back. We're never going to see all-time highs. Bitcoin is going to zero. Peter Schiff gets so vocal. It's a nightmare basically out there, right? When what you need to do is basically stop ignoring these narratives. And after roughly 80% to 99% crashes, this is when we need to be positive. This is when we need to turn off the mainstream media and concentrate strictly on math and percentages and what's happening in the markets, right? Can the Dow Jones crash and bring crypto down significantly? Yes, of course it can, but I'm hoping it does, so we get some great entries. Can markets be prolonged? Can it take longer for us to get these crazy pumps? That's also possible, right? But it's very important to remember every market finds a bottom, every bear market ends. And during the bull market, it's also very important to remember that every party ends and every bull market ends, and that every single time historically so far, crypto has crashed hard. Just in the last cycle that ended in 2022, right? So from 2002 to 2022, right? Nearly 4 years, we had a lot of people once again saying that crypto is not going to crash due to utility adoption and institutional adoption, right? I kept saying that it will crash really hard because their utility narrative is not important right now. There's not much utility around the world. And, historically, we crashed every single time. And why are you thinking that this time is different? Insane pumps result in insane dumps. It's very simple. If something pumps really hard, it crashes really hard. Yeah, I don't think that this time is different either. I don't think that this is the end of crypto. I think that a lot of things can change in crypto. And I think that, like I said earlier in another lecture, I think it's possible that Bitcoin might get dethroned. I think it's possible it might get dethroned by maybe it will not happen. I think maybe that Ethereum will no longer be the biggest altcoin in the world. Maybe it will be replaced permanently by somebody else. There are a lot of narratives, but we don't buy the narrative. We stick to percentages. And that's exactly why we diversify into different coins with different narratives, because we have no idea what's going to happen. And these people who concentrate on fundamentals, very often they kid themselves, right? Very often crypto is shown to us that fundamentals unfortunately don't matter, and that fundamentally, that fundamental coins very often get outperformed by coins with practically no fundamentals. That's why we diversify, because we're not here after fundamentals. We're here for massive ROI, and the bigger that ROI is, the better. That's our mission, to make as much money as possible. Sunny, how long until bull market? Quite some time, my friend. Depends. Define what do you mean by bull market. Do you mean like pumps to like 35K, 40K, maybe potentially? That can happen in 2023, but I believe these pumps will be unsustainable. Or we might have some kind of drop or slow climb, because two different market cycles will know different things. If you're talking about what I like to call basically like the bull market, like is when the last 200 to 300 days, when everything bumps really hard and will go parabolic, reach all-time highs, and crypto goes crazy, everybody forces back in and will start making insane amounts of money. To that point, we've got roughly 2 years to wait if if cycles stay the same. We've yet to determine whether or not cycles are likely. There's not enough data to determine that yet. And this current cycle from 2022 is going to help us define that, whether or not market cycles are in fact lengthening. We'll see about that. Yes, we're seeing crypto debt articles, so that's a good sign we're close to the bottom. Well, like I said, I don't know if we're close to the bottom, but I definitely know that we're closer to the bottom. I definitely know that this is a macro accumulation piece. I definitely know that here now at $50,000 Bitcoin, we're a lot closer to the bottom than we were at 70K. So definitely this is a area where I'm dollar cost averaging, and I have a whole strategy that I'm going with it. I'm not going all in. I'm neutral. Like I said, I'm currently neutral, and I'm following with my plan. I'm making sure that nothing can stop me from following my plan. I'm sorry about the Wi-Fi connection. There's not much I can do about it. But yeah, basically, to answer the question about is the bottom in, I just want to stress that I do not think that the bottom is in. I do not think so, but it doesn't matter. Stop concentrating on that. Stop chasing the bottom. We're in a macro accumulation phase. We should be accumulating in the exact strategy that I just defined. Once again, if you don't know what to do, follow the links down below. Join the Patreon. I explain everything in detail, provide constant market updates. I do everything that I literally can to make sure that nobody's left behind and we all win. That's pretty much my goal. And what I'm doing is very simple. What I've been doing for the last two market cycles. Every single time people say it's different, but it's never different. Every single time Bitcoin crashes up 80% is the end of the world, is the end of crypto. And every single time it becomes hard to top, people start saying we're never crashing again. This time is different, and it's never different. Some things are a little bit different. Narratives, actors, the events are different. But if you actually ignore the news and you just look at percentages, it's the same thing happening. When you look at sentiment, it's the same thing happening. We're quite straightforward. What do I think of H bar? H bar is it's a good coin. That's what I'm going to say about it. H bar is a good coin. And once again, remember that H bar is not a coin that anybody should go all into. You should not be a maximalist of any coin. Always diversify. Always increase your options of nailing. Excuse me. Huge percentage pumps, right? There are a lot of great projects out there. But just because it's a great project doesn't mean that it's going to perform in a great way. Therefore, you need to diversify and not be a fan of any coin, right? Also, the great thing about diversification, right? Let's say you're only in one coin. Yes, you might get lucky. That'll be the coin that shoots up 20,000%, and that's if you're a multi-millionaire. What if it's that one coin that doesn't do much during the bull market, right? So everything is up like 5,000, 10,000%. Your coin is up only like 1,000%, and you're upset about it, right? So you keep holding that garbage. And at the same time, you start making rational decisions. You're like, okay, this coin pumped hard. Maybe if I buy it now, maybe at least it will pump another 500% or 1,000%, and I'll make money since I missed out. And that's how people get screwed. That's how people start buying tops. Also, another great thing about diversification is that it helps you not to be a maximalist. It's much easier for you to sell these bags because when the time comes to sell your bags, you'll see that some of them perform very well. You'll be happy about it. You'll take massive profits, and it'll be much easier to sell the bags that did not perform well. See, you don't have to obsess with one project, and you don't have to come up with these crazy theories like the Riddlers in the XRP community with all the teddy bears and castles and some crazy, I don't know, some crazy theories. You don't have to do that because you're diversified, and some coins are going to deliver, and you start looking at more as a cool-headed, as an investor. You don't like it helps you not to be a maximalist. That's what I'm trying to say. And trust me, diversification has saved me a lot in these markets. And there's a reason why I preach it. The reason I preach it is because it works, guys. Diversification works. American Phoenix, thank you for finding time to come and join the live chat. I really appreciate it. Sunny, is the fear in the bear market 2022 as bad as the last bear market? Some people, it's a good question, Sunny. Some people are saying that yes, it is. I personally don't think it is. Some people are saying it's worse. But you see, the people who are saying that are unfortunately those who were affected by the FTX disaster. And I feel for these people. Really is a tragedy. If you ask me, no, because I look at percentages. We still have not had that crazy crash, and maybe it will not come. We don't know. Nothing has to be exactly the same way that it used to be. But anyway, like I just mentioned, the COVID crash, right? The COVID crash, coins crashed like crazy. After having already crashed like crazy, Bitcoin crashed 83%, and it crashed another 75%. And it's like insane crashes all over the world. And in addition to that, the narrative was crazy, right? We had crude oil going below zero. We had stocks crashing. We had basically, because of COVID, everything was being shut down. People were getting laid off, fired. We did not know what's going to happen. We did not know how long this pandemic is going to go on for. Some people legit thought it's just the end of the world, And so like the narrative was much worse, if you ask me. And I still have not felt that fear. I'm not in a position right now. Remember, I told you back in the 2018 to 2022 cycle, I told you that after waiting for huge crashes and buying those huge crashes, at one point, my first Bitcoin entry was down 50%, and some of my altcoins were down roughly 75 to 80%. And I came to how dog has happened, right? So I'm not in that point yet. So how can I say that it's worse, right? I can't. So if that would happen again, and I would get the dollar cost average at these prices, then I would say that yes, the sentiment is as bad as it is. Mike amount to rub 190% in. I have small bag just in case we go lower. Mike amount to 90% in, my brother. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit excessive, but I'm not 90% in. I would say I actually have to check percentage wise. Probably like 50-50 at this point. I guess I have to check. I haven't checked, but yeah. Dollar cost averaging here lower and much lower for sure. Yeah. I'm getting I'm getting coffee right here. I'm getting coffee, Steve. Yeah, guys. So what I want you to take basically from this live stream, I guess, don't chase the bottom. Stay the course. Stick to the plan that we have. Dollar cost average at those price targets that we have. Diversify into the coins that we have, and ignore the mainstream media and all the news about recession and all that. The thing is, why I'm saying they should be ignored, right? Is because they create these narratives where people are scared to buy. Yes, of course, everything can crash much further, and the millionaire spreadsheet shows these entries. It reflects that everything can crash much harder. But it's a good thing. Why I ignore these news writers? Like, I read them to basically digest and understand what's happening, to make sure that I'm getting the sentiment that I need to get, right? But I would recommend to a lot of people not to read, because they create so much BS that people are scared to buy. Like during the COVID crash, so many people were scared to buy. So many people were saying that after we already crashed hard, we're going to crash hard again. And I was like, maybe they're right, but I'm definitely going to dollar cost average here. And if we crash again, I'm going to dollar cost average again with equal amounts of money and all that, sticking to the plan. But how many of those people missed out that stayed sidelined and had to buy much higher, who weren't dollar cost average? How many people missed out who wanted to cash the exact bottom? A lot. A lot of people missed out who wanted to cash the exact bottom. That's why you should not chase bottoms. You should dollar cost average after huge crashes. If you crash again, you dollar cost average again. If you crash again, you dollar cost average again, right? Maybe while you're dollar cost averaging, you'll hit the bottom at some point, right? And get some great entries. And at the same time, when everything pumps really hard, you should not be chasing the top. You should start laddering out, locking in profits little by little, and setting stop losses. And once those stop losses hit, you're out with your full bag. You do not buy onto huge crashes. You do not buy no matter how badly you want to buy. Just because you didn't make the amount of money you wanted to make, it doesn't matter. I wanted to make more in the last cycle, but I was like, you know what? The market is looking toppy. I've made enough. I'm getting out. And all I have to do is be patient, wait for another cycle, and I'll make much more than I wanted to make in the last cycle. It's much easier, like I keep saying, it's much easier to take $10,000, right? Turn it into roughly $100,000 to $200,000 in one cycle. Get out and turn that 100, 200,000 into 1, 2, or 3 million in the next cycle. It's much more difficult to take 10,000 and to turn it into 1 or 2 or 3 million in one cycle. I'll be honest, at this point, it's probably quite impossible to say, or you would have to do some very risky stuff that I recommend that nobody does. But, 2 market cycles and you're done. And I believe that this market cycle will be the last one we can truly make huge gains. And after that, I believe because of the regulation and the plateau, which just happens to all asset classes, the way the market, what the market will do, basically, is I believe that we'll have this one last bull market with crazy pumps where the little guy can truly make it. And then after that, we get the crashes. And then from there on, I believe it will be like a rejuvenation, rebirth, where we slowly climb, like the stock market, maybe for 20 years. And maybe in 20 years, you will make like 2,000% or whatever, 1,000%. You get the point, basically, right? Which is very significant if you cash this market and make a good amount of money. Robin, thoughts on the controversial Tether backing? Well, there's definitely, I believe, some kind of shady stuff happening with Tether. And when it comes to basically, old stables, USDC is the best one, but there's no such thing as a great stable. For example, Kraken allows you to buy directly with fiat. And, try to make sure that you keep your money away from stables as much as possible. Keep it in crypto. When you purchase in crypto, keep the crypto on a cold wallet. I keep saying buy Nano Ledger S. Keep your crypto there. Make sure that you only buy from the official website, and make sure that you never ever buy a used one, because you will get hacked. And if you're trading like me, maybe keep like 10%, maybe 15% of your crypto on exchanges to trade. In that instance, yes, of course, you will have to use stable coins. But once again, what I'm trying to say is minimize the use of stable coins and minimize your exposure to exchanges. Because, FTX is by far not the last exchange that went down. Other exchanges are going to go down, I believe, in the future. And we don't know which ones those are, right? So we have to stay safe. Either way, guys, I hope this live was helpful. I really enjoy actually doing this, and I think I'll start doing this more often because it's a great thing to actually talk to you live. If you have questions, especially if you're on my Patreon or something, please always DM me on Twitter and ask away. Ask me what the questions are. Once again, if you don't know what you're doing or you don't really know how to go about the all cash average, which coins to buy or where to buy them, the links are going to be down below, guys. You can join the Patreon and get all the information there. I constantly provide market updates. There's also in the newsletter where if you like to read besides the market updates, I give my thoughts pretty much on a daily basis, not every single day, but several times a week about what I think and what's in my head. Yeah, so that's that, guys, and I really appreciate the fact that you took your time to come here and talk to me. Appreciate you all very much. Uh, Good strategy. I've been watching this since 2018. I remember those vlogs you used to do. Yeah, I remember that. Also in Starbucks and vlogs. Yeah, Sunny, thank you too. Have a good night. And once again, Steve Legend, thank you so much. Mm, Habitual, I'm sorry if I didn't say your name correctly. Here up, I'm Patrick, a member of yours. Really insightful about controlling emotions. Thank you. Thank you. I love the fact that you enjoyed. Thank you very much. All right, my friends, you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch up with you on Twitter or Patreon if you're on Patreon. And have an amazing day, my friends. Bye bye.